get down to it.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Donnie Mac, Marshentime here with you, 863 Sports Buzz Podcast. We're back to give you the same updated weekly round. What's going on today in sports? What's on our mind? We're going to fire them back and forth. We're going to aggravate each other a little bit. We're going to give ourselves
We
some
would never do
puzzlers.
such a thing. Get out of here.
But our main goal is
Okay, yeah, we
just
do that all the time.
yeah, all the time. That's all day. Our main goal is just to bring you up to date action, what's going on, what's most important, that we believe that's going on in the sporting world. We can't cover a lot in the 30 minutes, but we will get a whole lot covered.
Yeah, we
So,
try to do our
Martian
best.
time,
Keep live, keep
Martian
fast.
time. Yeah, we'll keep it fast. What are you thinking? Let's fire it right off. What are you thinking
Listen,
about
man,
right now?
we got to talk about it. College football starting up. We had week one.
Yep,
We're cut. Well, we had week zero. They call it.
week
They didn't really
zero.
have any huge games or anything. But the cool thing was in Ireland. Notre Dame and Navy. That was cool. Being in Ireland, that was cool to watch.
That's
But
why we
now,
like
hey,
week zero.
we got week one starting now. We got a hometown. We got a home team here. We got Florida. I mean, it's not my team. It's not your team. But we got to
No.
talk about it a little bit.
Hey,
Florida
we
against
have to.
Utah. Who you got,
Utah.
man? Who you got tonight? Who you got tonight?
That's a big deal. Just with Richardson leaving Florida, that's a big deal. They lose their quarterback.
True.
Utah, let me tell you what, since that new head coach took over in Utah for the last 3 seasons, Utah has been the champ in the Pac-12 division. That has been Utah all the way. But up the real big deal tonight is Utah's ranked, I believe, number 14 overall. Florida's not even in the top 25. I really believe Utah brings that pound and ground game to them, plays some defense, and slows the game down and plays their, hard nosed
I
style
mean,
of
but you're talking
football.
about the SEC, man. You're talking about
Yeah,
defense. So shouldn't Florida be able to stop them?
they should, but my question is can they get past
Can
that
they? I
defense
feel
of
it.
the
I don't think they
Utes,
could.
man? I
I
don't know.
agree.
They're pretty tough. They could. It could happen. Maybe they got a Tim Tebow that we don't know about. Who
That's
knows?
true. I mean, you never know.
You
We'll
never
see what
know.
happens.
It's that stuff. It'd be interesting if it does. I mean, I have a lot of faith in the Utes. If I had a pile of money, I would be putting it on the Utes in this game. But that's not my favorite game on the schedule. Let's face it. In
Which,
week one, we got a lot of heaters coming up, man.
so
Right
you
off
brought
the
it in,
rip.
man. You brought it in.
Hey,
What's the big game? What's your big
well, the
game?
big game, you got to be talking LSU and Florida State, right?
Yes,
You have to be
sir.
talking about that game right now
You
at this
know it's
point in the
coming in, buddy.
season. This is a huge game right off the rip. And you know what? LSU is ranked, I believe, number 2 in the nation.
Number five in the AP.
Number
It's
5 in the AP, whatever.
Florida State's ranked
But
number 8 in
they're
the AP, so it's 5-8,
and they're
buddy.
number 8, top
Top
10
10
game going on right here, right off the rip. And you
in
know
week
what?
one. Oh,
Florida State can put up points in a hurry. They can put up
hell
points in a
yeah.
hurry. With LSU having to supplement a lot of things, what they've got replacing. This is still the LSU we know. They still have that powerful
Yeah.
defense. They're very fast, but Florida State's bringing a lot to the table this season,
I
and I'm
mean, you're
excited to
talking
watch
about
this.
probably one of the fastest teams you know, in college
Oh
football
yeah,
is Florida State. Like they have
yeah, they've got to be a
so
top
many
five.
speedsters on their team. And I'm
Yeah, they got to
excited,
be the
dude.
top five.
I haven't been this pumped for Florida State to start, for a long time. I mean, there's a reason my room is gold. My walls are gold, everyone's burgundy. I mean, there's a reason for that. I'm just saying. I'm a Florida State fan. That's kind of how it goes. So we're gonna hope, and I'm gonna be watching it the whole time Sunday. I'm excited to watch it. I'm ready.
That's a couple really big matches, but overall for this season, Cody, what do you think? And who are we watching?
Ooh,
Who do you
you know.
besides Florida State? Because that's one of, and I can't say really a sleeper but they're going to surprise a lot of people in the nation this year. I really believe that.
Oh yeah, I
Watch how
think they're gonna
fast
come out
this team
strong.
is.
I think they're gonna come out strong.
But and I
Be
think
surprised.
LSU will tumble. They will tumble a little bit. Georgia Bulldogs, they got a big quarterback to replace again. Once again, they got
Yeah,
to
I'm
replace.
excited to see that though, because that
But
kid
you know
looks good
what?
in like spring games and everything. He
I'm
looks
telling
good.
you, they still
So,
have that same recruitment class coming in. Right, it's been
oh
that way
yeah,
for the last
100%.
3 years. Same way Alabama built their recruitment class over the last 8, 10 years.
Yeah, they
They are
never
not
go
going
away.
away. It does not. It doesn't
They
matter
never
who's
go
going to be
away.
at that quarterback if they can manage it and keep that defense, intact and stay healthy throughout. Georgia's going to be at the top of this board. We'll be talking about them later on.
I mean, I have a feeling about it. I have a good feeling that they're going to be at the top of the board. And people aren't, counting them out a little bit since, Stetson Bennett left. But telling you, man, that
It's
may
a
be a
big deal.
shocker. You know.
It may be a shocker. Who else you thinking, man? I mean, we're
Man,
talking about our top teams. Do you have any that's you think is going to slide in under the wire?
I'm thinking, and I hate to say this, but Sweeney has done a great job at Clemson, and I think Clemson's going to come back and have a great year this year. And I think they're going to
And
bounce
yeah,
back from what they had. I think they kind of had a quarterback issue last year, which I think they have resolved over the season, and they kind of, I think they got it going now. So I think they're going to come back stronger than people think. Don't count out Clemson still. Clemson's going to have a good
well,
team.
they go right along with that recruitment class deal. They go
Mm-hmm.
right along with it, and you just can't. You can't. Clemson's so fast. They're one of those teams. That's their recruitment is around fast
Oh,
individuals, and
100%.
they get fast and they get 5-star recruitments easily.
Listen, I think when Brett Venables left last season for Clemson and went to Oklahoma, I think that really kind of changed their mindset and was like, hey, maybe we should start thinking again. I think that got Dabo really thinking about it again. I think he's got a
Yeah,
great team coming in. I think he's going to have a big jump this year again. So
I think
don't be
so
afraid
too.
of seeing them in the national championship game. You may be
Oh,
surprised.
hey, I mean, coming in at AP top 25, they're at number 9. So that's, I mean, and a lot of people aren't
Yeah.
talking about them. You're right. So
No, you
that
really,
could
I
be,
haven't heard about him at all.
no, they are not. And another team not a lot of people talking about is Ohio State. They AP top 3,
Yeah, I
and a
mean,
lot of people are not expecting a lot from
listen,
Ohio State, but they still have their 4-star recruitments.
you know how I feel about Ohio State, Michigan. They don't really play anybody. I'm kind of disappointed how their conference is, and I really hope their conference gets stronger because they don't play
Yeah,
hard competition. It's so hard to judge them
it
until they
is.
get into the big games, and it's hard, man. It's really hard.
Well, it's the same with Purdue, Penn State.
Exactly.
These
I
teams,
mean,
you
teams
can't,
are kind of falling
Wisconsin.
off now.
But you get these big name pros like Saquon Barkley and Deuce
I mean,
Vaughn. They come out of,
yes,
I mean, C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr. I will tell you this: Marvin Harrison Jr. this year for the Ohio State Buckeyes is
he's gonna
going to
have a
be
big year.
like this is going to be
That
like a
dude.
Sammy
Whew,
Watkins year for Clemson. When Sammy Watkins come out, that's all that Clemson wanted to do
I
is
agree.
throw
I
the ball.
agree.
That's what they're going to do, and that's how they have to succeed. You can shut that down though, and you can be that's a
Yeah.
one-dimensional deal you can shut down.
I mean, of course I'll watch them, but I'm more excited on some other teams that I want to watch. I want to watch Texas, with Arch Manning coming in.
Yeah, I
I
really
want to
do
see it.
too.
I mean, I want to see how that works out because
I was
Texas
gonna say
has
that
been on
too.
has been on a spiral down, and I want to see him kind of come back up because that Texas Oklahoma game, it's a great
Hmm.
rivalry game, and I love watching it. Just like the Ohio State Michigan, just like Florida State Miami, just like Clemson South Carolina. It's one of them big rivalries that you just want to watch,
Yeah,
and it hasn't been the same the last couple of years because it's just been horrible to watch. It's
yeah,
been
yeah.
blowouts every time.
You just don't want to watch it. It's going to be different this year. It's going to be a little
I
bit
hope
different
so.
this
I
year.
hope so.
And that's the same thing for a long time that I felt about Michigan Ohio State. You watch those games because of those rivalries. You
Hundred
got the
percent.
Red River rivalry. You got all these rivalries that are classic rivalries to watch. Alabama, LSU. These are awesome.
That's become
Florida
recent though.
State.
That's become recent.
Well, yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know.
and it's not really a traditional
Yeah,
rivalry,
I mean,
but
you
your
got some
Florida State,
traditional
Florida,
rivalries that are crazy. Florida State, Florida,
Florida
Florida
State.
State, Miami, Florida,
They could
Miami,
both.
dude.
Florida,
Florida,
Miami.
Miami was a
That's another really good
crazy
one. Yeah.
matchup. I mean, they actually had to suspend the series because the Gators were
UCLA.
getting chucked at oranges at the Orange Bowl. It was
The
awesome. I mean, that's just
UCLA,
crazy.
USC. There's a
Yes,
lot of
yeah.
really good, and that's why we tune into college football because
Hundred
you
percent of
get
the
the
rivalries, I think, is
best.
the best thing. I
Yeah,
think it's
you
just the
get the
best thing in
best,
football.
and there's a lot of teams that have a lot of abilities and have really good recruits, and another one per se, and they're really horrible. Primetime Deion Sanders in Colorado. What is this team going to
Oh
do?
no, I don't even want to talk about Deion
He's
Sanders.
brought.
Dude,
Listen,
I'm
he's
so sick and
brought.
tired of hearing about Dion Prime. He
Well,
is he's just
we're
disrespected
talking about
himself.
Colorado football team. We're not
Yeah,
talking about
yeah. Well,
Prime. We're talking about Colorado because what that's done is it's brought a lot of transfers and better recruits to that organization. And Colorado's been horrible for 20
no,
plus
I mean that
years.
is true, but I don't think it's
I
going to
mean,
change because I'm sorry, I don't think he's that
I'm
great of a
interesting
coach.
to see if it. I don't know if he is a coach. We don't know
Yeah,
that.
I think
I mean, He's just coming on the scene. He's brought Warren Sapp with him. He's brought other coaches with
Yeah.
him. You have to believe that some of that has got to be some kind of improvement in Colorado. That'd be
I mean,
nice to see.
it can't be anything worse than what it's been. So
No, but what I do look to happen if they are successful, I look for Deion Sanders to look for a different college and move on up.
listen, man, he's burning bridges. I mean, I would have thought he would have came to Florida State, but he kind of burned some bridges, man. It's
That's his way back in the door there. But we'll move on from primetime Sanders. We hope
hey,
Colorado
what you got
does
coming
well.
at us? We talked about some college football. I brought it in. What you got to bring in, man? What you got to talk about?
Well, one last thing I want to talk about before we move on, and I know
All
we're
right.
10 minutes in, is college football. College football. Give me a playoff and give me two
Oh,
teams you
yeah,
think
give
are
me
going to
two
meet in the
teams.
national championship.
Listen,
Give me two teams to
uh,
look for. Are your
ooh,
preseason predictions
ooh,
now?
man,
Preseason. We'll do this
man.
again about week 5.
Yeah, we got because college football is hard to judge because you don't really
It
get to see a
is.
lot of the players. You don't really know
It
a lot of the
is.
recruiting, but it's fun. It's entertaining. I'm gonna stick with a classic in the game who's been in there last couple of years. I'm gonna stick with Georgia. I'm gonna stick with Georgia going in, and then it's number 2. Oh man, I want to be a
That's a tough
homer.
one.
I want to say Florida State. I really, really do, but I don't
But you
think
got to
they can
see
do
it.
it. I really don't think they
Yep.
can do it. I
You
think
got to
they're
see
gonna.
it
I think
first.
they're gonna be in a New Year's Six bowl game, but I don't think they're gonna be in the national championship game. Man, you put me on the spot here. I'm starting to think. I like Clemson, I really do, but
That,
I'm gonna go with Georgia. And you brought them in. I won't say Ohio State because actually Ohio State's got a pretty simple schedule. So
they
they
do.
as long as they take care of Michigan like they should this year, I think they can go to the national championship game.
Okay, I don't like the Ohio State going in there just because of the one-dimensional. A lot of things are in question for
Listen,
them
man, you
and their
can't tell me though
schedule.
that Ohio State seems to always have a running back and then they always come up with another
Have
running
a
back somehow. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like,
they not only that, the year they won with 12, they went through 3 different quarterbacks, and one started the national championship, had never
yeah,
started before.
I
It
know.
was weird, odd, but their defense and their running game, that's the only thing that's going to keep them in there. But
So,
I really hope they find a way to get in there,
what you got, man? Who are
and
you two? Who are yours two?
I, I'm going a complete different direction with you
All
on
right,
this one.
all right.
I'm going to take Florida State to go to the national
Ha!
championship just because I
This
think
guy's
they
such a
are.
homer.
No, I'm serious. I think. Oh, well, no. I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm an Ohio. Everybody knows that.
Why
I
do we
just
always
don't.
pick each other's teams? It's kind of weird, man.
If you look at the strength of schedule that Florida State's got to go through, starting with game number 1, they have a pretty rough bounce to get through that. And if they can
yeah.
do that in the opening 5 weeks, I think they're the fastest team in college football on grass when they hit the field. They're ranked number 8 for a reason, and I hope we see that straight out of the gate. I'm taking Florida State to go to the national championship, and I'm going to
I
surprise you with
like it.
this
I
one.
like it.
I'm going to surprise you with
Uh
this
oh.
one.
Uh oh.
I'm gonna pull Utah, the Utes, to go in and meet them in the
What?
national championship,
Get
upsetting
out of here.
LSU,
You're out of your
upsetting,
mind.
upsetting
Out of your
LSU.
mind, man.
Upsetting
Get out
LSU to
of
get
here.
in. Yeah, it's
Get
going to
out
be
of
a
here,
huge
man.
deal. What they're going to do this year is going
Out
to
of
be
your
awesome.
mind.
They're going to show you
This
against
guy.
Florida.
This guy, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you guys are watching this, I'm sorry for my partner. I think maybe if he did a little day drinking, I don't know. I'm a little worried about him now.
I'm always doing that. Okay, so you asked me what's on my mind.
What's
We're
on
gonna
your
run
mind,
this
buddy?
straight before we run out of a whole lot of time. We're gonna run this straight into baseball now, man. Baseball, it's
Baseball.
starting. It's heating up a little bit. The Miami Marlins is taking a
Mm.
little bit of a dive. What do you see? What's going on right now, man? What are you
Listen,
seeing?
man. I don't know what happened to the Marlins. Their pitching though has been god awful. Like it's just been they've fallen off, and they're saying they're saving pitchers. The pitchers that they're saving when they're letting them start is doing a horrible job because they're not getting the games that they've been getting. I
Yeah,
don't understand what's going on with the managing right now. I don't. I'm
and
I'm just
that's
a
pretty.
little confused right now. I'm gonna be honest with it. I don't
That's pretty
understand
much
that.
key.
You
That's
know,
pretty
I,
much key because their offense has been there, Cody. Their offense has been there. It's just that bullpen, they're not managing something correctly
yeah,
back there. Uh,
something's going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if
yeah.
maybe they just had a weird start and now the batters are starting to figure out the pitchers. Maybe who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
But they got
that's
to
a good
figure
point.
something out. Like they got to figure out something quick.
Yeah, because they're in the wrong division to be trying to figure it out at this
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
They're in the wrong division.
I
I
completely
mean,
agree.
you got the best team in baseball, number one. I think they've got
Yeah,
what
I mean,
87
I
wins
agree.
right now.
They're way up there.
Yeah, they've got something like 87 wins. Your second best team is in the American League, but right behind them, the Phillies are pulling up. You got the Dodgers right behind them. Even and look at that race over there in their division, in LA's division. That's not settled yet, neither.
No, I mean that's true. And you know what's throwing me off though is you brought in LA. I mean I know you're talking about different LA, but the
Yeah, not
Angels,
that.
what are they
Oh, yeah,
doing?
that's a big talk there too, man. Otani goes down, and they just
And then they
start
just get rid of everybody. Like, hey, get out, get out, get out.
unloading.
Yeah, you traded for
It's,
some of these players and you're just waving them. Like,
yeah, then now
my
they're
head
fed up.
hurts, man. Baseball's confusing me right now, and I don't understand it, man.
You know
But
what
I
that
will give
means
you.
for Otani.
Oh, he's going somewhere. You know he's going
Yeah,
somewhere.
he's going. He's going.
But you're right about the Braves being one of the best teams in the. But we got to talk about the Seattle Mariners. How they've come on so strong.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yes.
coming on strong, man. They're hitting their stride at the right time of year. I'm. I would be scared of it if them. I was, anybody else. I'd be scared.
What? That's what I was just going to say. That those are the most dangerous teams. Look what the Rays, and the Rays are still in the race too. We're not talking about the American League, but they do the same type of ball late in the season. They grind out those last innings. They play small ball. They do their things, and that's what Seattle's thriving on right now. And they've been doing that for a long time for pitching and defense. Seattle's been doing that.
Yeah, I mean, but I want to talk about one more team that we really haven't talked about a lot, and not getting much recognition. But this team's always at the bottom of their division, and they're at the top right now. We got to talk about
Yeah.
the Baltimore Orioles, man.
Yeah. That's what I
83
say.
and 50.
They they are killing it, dude. They are
What?
killing it. I think they are the second best team, or tied for the second with the Dodgers. Yeah, they're tied second with the Dodgers for the second
Yeah,
best team
yeah.
in baseball right now. And I was wrong. That's the wrong division when I was talking about the Dodgers. I meant the Brewers and the Cubs and the Reds. They're all still battling it out for that
Oh yeah,
division
they're
there.
they're
That's
all close. Yeah, those pretty close divisions. So
that one's not over yet. The Phillies, I mean, you could pretty much hang that up. I don't think they have enough time to catch
you're not
Atlanta.
catching the Braves.
But
You're
what?
not catching them anyway.
No,
You ain't got
no.
a chance.
But what they are doing is they're catching fire right now. So if they get that bid on wild card, the Phillies are going to be a dangerous team when they get in there.
Oh, and they're definitely in the driving spot for that wild card. So
Oh yeah, that's definitely them. Not only Baltimore in that division, it's nice to see what Baltimore's doing. They're in a 7-3 in their last 10 games, but the team that's right behind them and threatening them is your
yeah,
Tampa Bay Rays, man.
yeah.
They're 8-2. They're on a hell of a winning streak right now, and they're right on Orioles' ass. So if they have one slip up, that could vary. And I think they got a series coming up too. Yeah, don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure they got a series coming up too, and that might be a huge deciding factor racing down in the end of September.
It's very very true.
And
It may give some leeway and give you some ideas on the playoff bracket. Playoff match, which would be kind of fun. I love division playoff matches, man. It's so much fun. Because
yeah, so
the
do I.
rivalry comes in. It's just like so much fun. Love it.
Especially the ALS, like you hinted on with Seattle, dude. That is awesome what's going on there because the Houston and both Texas went out and chased pitchers. They went and got the tools they deemed necessary. We've already talked about the Angels, but look what Aroldis Chapman has done in the last 5 games that he's tried to close out the game for the Rangers. He's blown 3 saves. That's
True. I
huge.
mean,
They're coming down this stretch right now. If he's got something going on with his arm, that could be huge at the end of this stretch right here, and that could give Astros a little bit bigger window between them and the Rangers.
that's a very good point. I didn't think about that, but
He could have,
it's
yeah,
a
he
little
could have
sketchy.
something going on that is a little
I mean,
sketchy because you don't
he may just be having a bad time
tired.
too. Sometimes it goes.
Yeah,
Sometimes they have bad outings. Maybe he's in a little slump. Maybe he'll pick it up. Maybe he won't.
maybe
Always
it takes
exciting
him
to
a
see though in
15,
baseball.
right? Maybe it takes him a 15-day stint on the DL and recovers and comes back for the playoffs.
Something.
But what else you thinking, Marshentime, man? We're talking about baseball a little bit. Anything else on your
We're talking
mind?
about all this stuff. We're talking about NFL coming up pretty soon. You
Okay.
know, I gotta say something though. how do you think that this Lionel Messi coming to enter Miami? We got to talk about this just for a little while. The guy
Yeah.
hasn't lost a game yet. They just the first game they finally tied him. How do you think this is changing, soccer fans' views on Lionel Messi? Do you think he's the greatest of all time?
Well, first of all, I didn't even want to watch soccer until it came to the World Cup time. That's it. But I've been checking in on news on Lionel Messi myself, trying to see what's going on. You know what else I'm seeing?
Telling you,
I'm not
man.
the only one doing that. I'm not the only
Oh,
one
of
doing
course
that.
not.
Dude, he's got every celebrity in Miami coming to his games,
I
man.
know
It
it's
doesn't
crazy.
matter who it is. It's pretty cool. You just to put that feel back into Miami, that's a big revenue for that city. I mean, number
Yeah, I mean,
one,
he's
that
huge now.
that's that's huge. That's huge. Not only that, now everybody down there in that region knows what soccer is, and they're
Very
probably
true.
planning on going to see Messi live. Because if not, I mean, that's like being a chance of having the chance to watch Michael Jordan play ball and not doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, you might as well go do it because he's going to be the last one you see play like that. The last one.
I agree. I mean, he's probably the greatest. He is probably the greatest of all time. So I just
Yeah.
want to throw that question out there, though. What you thought about it? So what you
Yeah,
got, man?
yeah,
Anything
that's
else you
my.
want to cover? Anything else you want to do about?
We can cover a few things in the NFL. JT Jonathan Taylor, he's staying in Indy.
Oh man, yeah.
They're,
Well, that
they're
was just they were off. They were wanting way too much. And I told you, man. I
the
knew that was going to happen. But hey, you just
yeah.
I'm
Well,
always
the
right.
trade
So it seems like
deadline
so.
trade deadline's in October, so the game ain't
That's
over
true.
yet.
He
Trade
he may
deadline's in
end up into
October.
he may be the next
You know,
JT.
a lot of things could happen. A lot of things could happen, but another big deal is Josh Jacobs ended his holdout. He
Yeah,
signed up,
signing with the Raiders. Yeah, but he got
signed up,
paid.
and
He got paid.
he got paid, and he says there's no hard feelings. I'm back at square one. He goes, I'm
Yeah,
going forward with my deal. I think that's pretty cool and pretty stand up on his behalf. Let's play some football. It's time to play
yeah. Let's get
football.
it over.
There's a few injuries that's shaking up the league too. A couple of notable linemen. Joe Burrow is coming back. They said he looked healthy. He's probably going to be clear to go in week one. Cooper
I would
Cup
hope so because we don't
says
have anybody.
right. Cooper Cup said, "Yeah, I'd hate to. I don't even know who the backup is. Who cares?
That's bad
I'll
from
take
your fan.
I'll take Joe Burrow with three fingers and one leg. Okay,
Right?
but not only that, Cooper Cup, he's ready to go. There's a couple of big deals, and Bosa deal over in San Francisco. He's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
holding out. That could be a huge deal for them. What do you
yeah.
kind of what is the biggest impact right now going into this first
Listen,
week? Because we're
I
7 days
don't like
away from
seeing that
football,
kind of
man.
stuff. So I don't like holding out. You're under contract. I understand you want to get money, and I understand you want to get paid. But you signed the contract, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? You signed the contract, and, just like Christian Wilkins from Miami, though. And I love how he went up. He's like, yeah, I didn't get paid, but you know what? I'm going to go into this season. I'm going to put all of it into it. And I'm going to do the best I can for my team, because I want to be here. I just want to play football. And that's how you should be.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. That's how you should be to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I mean, you signed up to begin with. Now you see somebody else is getting more butter on their bread, and you want
Yeah.
some too. So that's pretty much what it comes down to in my eyes. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I understand talking about contract extensions or reworking your contract, but go out and play for your team and show them why you deserve it. I
yeah.
understand you did great before, but your team can't just automatically change your contract every year. I just don't like that
Okay,
kind of stuff.
we're gonna stay on football real quick. I'm gonna rapid fire a few questions right at you.
Okay, go do
And
it.
this is strictly your opinion. What do you think's
Okay,
gonna happen? And these are 10-1 fantasy questions. So
all
put
right,
yourself in a fantasy standpoint. Um,
gotcha.
you've been in a few more mock drafts since last week. What are
I
you
have.
seeing the tradition on that it's blowing your mind? You don't know why people are doing this, and you want them to stop. What are they doing?
Listen, man, I'm looking at some of these people, and they're letting Patrick Mahomes slide down to like 20 and almost a third round. What is wrong with
Yeah,
you? What is
yeah,
you just gonna let the best quarterback in the league just keep dropping and dropping and dropping? I'm like, okay, I'll take him. Like, go ahead
right.
and pick up Patrick Mahomes. The guy's insane. Like, he's gonna put up points. You need a quarterback that's gonna put up points. Go and get him. That just drives me nuts letting him slide that far. That's
He,
we'll leave it at that. There's some
he
other
gets a
things that
lot of
people need to
points,
look
man.
at, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so we've done sleepers and this and that. You've done defense. You've done a tight end for me. What's what's some of the wide receivers that are getting picked up for good value consistently in the middle rounds that you think could help change the outcome of your fantasy season? What are
You know,
some
I
big
mean,
ones that just pop
again,
out?
this is some just on what I'm seeing. But Garrett
Right.
Wilson's kind of dropping a little bit. I think he's going to have a good year. Devontae Smith out of Philadelphia seems to be dropping a lot in a lot of drafts for some reason. I don't
I
understand
noticed
that.
that.
He had a
I don't
really
know
good
neither.
year, and he's a good player.
He's in a good
I
offense.
picked him up, man. Yeah, exactly. Pick the guy
Yeah.
up, like draft him. A couple other ones that I've noticed. Jalen Waddle's kind of dropping a little bit, and I don't understand why that's happening. But
Yeah, that's kind
I
of weird.
mean, it's some weird picks that you guys need to go out and look at your players. You know,
And
I just don't
some
understand it.
some people's thoughts may be on as far as questions with Tua and the quarterback too, and allowing to slide. But to back you up on why that's weird, because Tyreek Hill's leaving in the first two rounds in every draft I see.
Yeah,
He
I
has been,
mean,
and they're taking Waddle way down below. But
yeah,
Waddle had a
fifth, sixth
hell of a
round
year.
sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, him and Tua have a
man,
great connection. I mean, they seem to hit each other all the time. So
one
I don't know.
surprising
Well, that's just
quarterback.
me.
One surprising quarterback this year. Out of the
Aaron
rookies,
Aaron Rodgers
comebacks.
and Jared Goff, they're dropping down so far, man. Go and draft these
Okay.
guys. Go
Yeah,
and draft them.
I'd
Jared
agree.
Goff, I think, is going to have a great year. Don't sleep on Jared Goff this year. That's my main thing. Don't sleep on him.
Well, I completely agree with that. Both of those. You're ahead on. I mean, we're on the same page on a lot of fantasy aspects. Probably why we do this. But last question for you. And I'm not going to. I don't want to do this to you right now, but I've given you a lot of time to think about this. Just give me your five top players. Just five top players, no matter what position you thought were really stand out in this year's 2023 Valorant Champions Turn.
Listen, you say not a position. I'm going to give you position. I've
Okay.
looked at it. I've went through it. You got to
Huh?
go with your duelist as Demon One. Demon One
Nice.
went off. A great thing though for something and Aspas. Honorable mentions to those two. They had great years as well. They had great tournaments. Those three though, Demon One is going to be my number one as my duelist. Then you have
Good
your
pick.
initiator. This is the
Mm,
little bit suspect one. Where you have I loved how Ethan played on EG. He had such good comms with his teams, and his flashes were on point, and I really
I know
liked
where
it.
you're going. I
Oh
know where you're
man,
going.
I
You
don't know if
have
you
to.
do, man. I don't know
I
if you
don't
do.
know.
But
Okay.
you know, ah, I hate to say this, but you got to go with Alpha's year from Fnatic.
Ooh.
This
Ooh,
guy
that was a
had a
surprising
great
pick.
tournament that people didn't see.
Yeah.
Like he actually had a really good tournament. He was doing really well. So I threw that little surprise in you. I know you wanted me to pick some
That
other players,
was
but
that kind of cartwheeled me there. You kind of surprised me with that. Good
yeah,
pick
it's
though.
all good, buddy. It's
Good
all
pick.
good. Then I'm
So
going to my
Demon.
controller. Yeah, Demon Alpha year. Now I'm going to go controller. This is the one where he had a great thing. He threw up his screens really well. He was a great Viper player. He played for Paper X, and we're going to go with Mind Freak. The guy
Yep.
had a great all-around
Yeah.
tournament. He led his team there. And there's some other players that really need some credit where it's due, but I got to go with Mind Freak as my number one guy as a
Mind Freak
controller.
was awesome.
You know.
Yeah. He was
Now
great
we're
in
gonna,
that tournament.
yeah.
Great.
Oh, he was tremendous, man. I mean, just
He was great.
tremendous on what he did. And throw it in there. Demon One played a controller a couple times, and he did great on that too. But
He
Demon
did.
One's he's just a beast. So we're just gonna leave him in there. All right, what do I got? A
So that
controller. I got Sentinels now. Ooh, this one.
Sentinels and Smoker.
Well, that's a controller that we just did. So I'm gonna go with the
Oh, the
Sentinel here.
controller.
And I'm thinking I'm liking different people. I'm gonna go with Boostio.
Ooh,
It was either
good pick.
Boostio or Les. And oh man, Les.
Les was a
Actually, you know what?
beast,
I
man.
gotta go
Les
with
is
Les
a
as the
beast.
Killjoy.
I was gonna
I
say,
gotta go with
oh man.
Boostio. I just like because
Now,
Boostio was in IGL. So I'm throwing that in there. So
I,
but I'm gonna go with
well,
Les as my
that
Sentinel. And I
That's
may
a
still
skilled
use Bustio as
position.
my IGL, so 'cause I
Yeah,
still got an
that's
IGL
a
spot that I
skilled
got to throw in.
position. You got an IGL and a coach. I want both of them.
Coach. Yeah, you got to go with Potter for the coach, man, for EG. She
He's
made
got to
that
be
team, and you got to
yeah.
put her in there. I got to put her in there. She always has such good strategies on the back end, where people don't respect it, but she knows, and she proved it. I got to go with Potter
Yeah,
as the head coach. But
that's
now my
only natural.
IGL, do I go with? Do I go with Bustio? Do I go with Sadhawk? Do I go with Boaster, who's still probably the greatest of all
Boaster.
time?
You got to go Boaster
Man,
now.
but if we're just talking just this tournament.
This
I gotta
tournament,
go
that's what you're
Bustio.
right.
I
Yeah,
gotta go
you're right.
Bustio. Bustio did a great job, and I'm giving him credit where it is. If I'm going all time, I'm going Boaster. But for this
You're right.
tournament, Bustio, you are my IGL. Come on back onto the team. Lead these guys to go. Let's go, buddy.
Let's go, Boostio. Let's go. And that's a good point. We're talking about this tournament. Fnatic was they
They still had a
didn't
decent tournament. They
disappoint.
got fourth.
They had a decent tournament, but I mean, you're not first, you're last, right? Isn't that what Ricky Bobby said?
Yeah, if you're not first, you're last.
But good call on the coach. EG, they weren't supposed to do what they did, but they did what they did. They had a chance to do what they were doing. They come up under under the radar a little bit, but people knew who they were and they were coming. They knew it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
she assembled a really good squad essentially. She really did. And,
Oh,
and Demon won.
I respect her what she did. Like,
Yeah,
no one
Demon
expected
won.
it, and she did it. She proved them wrong.
I love your team, man. That'd be awesome to watch that squad play together, just in this tournament alone.
Telling you, man. Telling you.
That would have been awesome. That's all I got for you, Marshentime. You got anything from me? You want to sign it off? Get
No,
out of
man,
here,
I'm
brother.
good, man. We're gonna have some fun. Come on back and see us. We have next week to get some things. We'll be talking about
Yeah.
week 1 in college football. We'll be talking about
Yep.
the NFL starting up. So come back and see us next week, guys. We're going to be signing off here on the 863 Sports Buzz with your host, Don and Mac and Marshentime. We'll see y'all next